to Hot Flash Chronicles, where midlife is messy, menopause is madness, and we're sweating through it together.
We're Angie and Shelly, two caffeine-fueled, slightly inappropriate grandmas who say what everyone's thinking.
So grab a drink, crank up the AC, and let's dive in.
Shelly.
Angie.
It is time for another Hot Flash Chronicles podcast. And as we just said, I'm Angie.
I'm Shelly.
And today we are going to talk about boundaries, which is something I have just recently started to learn how to set.
Yeah.
I'm like a little toddler trying to dip my feet in the pool of saying no or setting expectations, or I'm not okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I feel like this is a big topic.
I think it's a really big one for people who have been kind of stuck in the people pleaser zone, which
I'm a reformed people pleaser. I'm still working on it. I'm never recovering.
And there's like really a way you got to kind of delineate like that it's okay to want to help people and to do things that make them happy. That's one thing. And people pleasing tends to be another thing.
And your own expense.
There's a reason why we tend to people please. It's people who need a lot of validation and attaboys and girls. Yeah.
They have to be misted all the time.
Yeah.
You can be a cactus or you can be a fern. You get to choose.
Yes. Which one will you be? And so I think learning about boundaries, like the sooner you put that practice into your life, the better. But also, it's never too late. So if you have been a person who's had a hard time or didn't understand, you might not even know that you haven't set boundaries. Like some people are completely unaware that, and you have probably been taken advantage of because you didn't know that.
No is a complete sentence.
It is.
It is okay to tell people no if it's not something that you want to do or you don't have time to do it. It is okay to decline an invitation. Mm-hmm. I give you permission. If you're seeking permission from somebody, first of all, don't do that. Second of all, I give you permission to say no if you'd rather do something else. Like, that's not saying like, oh, you should just go say no to everything. No. But if it's not, like, if you have too much on your plate, maybe don't add more gravy.
I think there's three really easy things to ask about when somebody asks you to do something. And the first thing is literally checking your calendar. Like, do you actually have the time to do this thing, whatever it is, this request? Physically look at your calendar or, just run through, what am I doing? What do I have on my plate? So you have to do that. You have to do a check. The second one is, are you doing it for another person? Like solely, like you're only doing it for them. It's not really something for yourself because
unless it's like somebody that's in need that needs help, like that's different. But if it's just like,
that's fine because that's actually an okay thing. That means like I'm a person who helps people in need. That's fine. That's still something
right,
for you.
But it's different than like,
are you doing it just to make someone else happy? That's right. Different. Like, oh, God, I really don't want to do this, but if it'll make them happy, fine. That has a completely different feel to it than, well, I want to help this person. So it's kind of are you doing it for the right reasons? And what is your definition? How do you define what the right reasons are? That's something you have to do.
So if we were going to kind of like just define boundary without looking up the actual definition, mm-hmm. It's basically saying this is something that is outside of my comfort zone that I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. So when you're setting a boundary with somebody, there are, ways to word it, but no matter how you word it, it is okay to say, I'm not comfortable with how this conversation's going. I'm not comfortable with how you're making me feel. Mm-hmm. I'm not comfortable with committing to that.
Yeah.
I know I talk about Sue Bryce a lot, but she's somebody who is like pivotably important in my life and has taught me a lot. And she's taught me a lot recently on self-value. And one of the things, and she talks about boundaries a lot. So one of the things that was a big takeaway for me is I have in my life had people kind of shun me or like passive aggressively come at me for not doing what they wanted me to do. And there's this phrase that I think is just worth its weight in gold. And it's, have I done something that I need to apologize for? So if I say that, if Shelly's given me the cold shoulder, right? if she's being rude, which she's not ever rude with me, but if she was being rude and I say like, hey, what's wrong? And she says nothing over and over, then I can say, have I done something that I need to apologize for?
Oh, let's role play this.
Let's role play it. Okay. Hey, do you want to go get some lunch?
Sure.
Boom. You seem upset. How are we feeling?
I'm fine.
You're fine. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure that?
Sure. Yes. Fine.
Okay.
It's all good.
Have I done something that I need to apologize for? Oh, see that stops her because
it's like you got to think, oh, I can't play my passive aggressive game.
There are two routes here that happen. When I ask her that,
I could say, no, I said everything's fine.
Then she, first of all, I called out the fact that she's treating me as though I've done something. And I don't have to own whatever she's feeling because she has told me in full words, you have not done anything that you need to apologize for. Mm-hmm. So it absolves me from worrying about whatever's going on with her.
Because if they've given you that answer, then you don't have to play the game anymore.
Then you release it.
Yeah.
Lesson release. Yeah. And it's like, okay, she's got something else going on. I'm not going to sit and tailspin in my head where this is going. Or
I could ask
she could say,
well, you know what? Actually, there is something I want to talk to you about.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you have
either we address it or we acknowledge and move on. Mm-hmm. So it's a very powerful because I'm owning it. Have I done something that I need to apologize for?
Because first of all, maybe you did do something and you're unaware of it. I mean, that happens. And if you're dealing with someone, in my character in this is maybe someone who doesn't know how to have honest conversations or who is uncomfortable telling you that. So it comes out as a passive aggressive behavior, which is something people do. Girls do this a lot. Women do this a lot in their romantic relationships, sometimes with men. A guy forgot to do something or didn't get you flowers or didn't do an important thing that was important to you. And when they ask you, though, you do it's fine.
Right.
And we all know it's not.
So I have a rule that when Jeff and I started dating, because I've been through some pretty unhealthy relationships in the past. And when Jeff and I started dating, I decided I'm no longer going to say I'm fine if I'm not. Mm-hmm. So if he says, what's wrong? I won't say nothing if something is wrong. Mm-hmm. I might say, I'm upset, but it has nothing to do with you and I'm still processing it. Or I need to take 5 minutes, or this is how I felt, or I need to talk this through with you, or I'm upset and I'm not sure if I'm being unreasonable. Mm-hmm. But I won't say I'm fine if I'm not. So we had this happen like a month ago when we were in Portland. I was really in my feels about something. We were traveling with a girlfriend and I woke up in just like a realization that had everything to do with me and nothing to do with them. And I was visibly upset, I would say. Yeah. So we go to breakfast and Shelly and Melanie are like, what's going on? And I'm like, no, I'm okay. I'm okay. And Melanie was like, we're not moving on until something's clearly going on.
Yeah, something is wrong.
And I was like,
okay,
well, yes, I'm upset, but it's not anything you guys did. It's just I came to this realization about myself and I don't like it. And I feel upset about it. It makes me sad and feel lonely. And I'm just sitting in a lot of feels and I'm trying to figure out how to process that. But you guys didn't do anything. You just made me realize something about myself. Yeah. And I don't like where I'm sitting in this. But I can recognize that I'm sure they felt that they had done something, but it wasn't any, like they didn't do an act toward me.
We could just tell something was wrong. Something's
wrong. But I don't want to like dim the girls' weekend where it's like, I'm now turned into like pouty Susan over here.
So what Angie just kind of gave as an example, I feel like boundary setting, a lot of boundary setting is some self-reflection. Yeah. Like a lot of us don't know what our boundaries are. We literally don't know because maybe we've never put them up, or maybe we did, but there hasn't been a consistency in how we do it. So boundaries and setting boundaries is very much about you asking yourself the questions of what is my line, or what are my expectations?
Or I'm very big on, am I being unreasonable here?
Yeah.
Like that hurts, but is that a me problem or a them problem?
So it all requires feelings and examining them,
acknowledging it,
and then finding words to communicate them. And that can be talking it out. It could be writing it down. Like some people, a lot of times when I really want to get in my feels, I will journal it out or type it out. Yeah, I can hit delete afterwards. It doesn't have to be something I keep. But some people process by actually writing it. Some people want to say it. Some people just want to feel it. Like they just want to hear self-talk in their head, meditate it, and think about what is this thing. So boundary setting, it sounds like, oh, well, you just do this. But a lot of us don't know what our boundaries are.
Right.
Don't know.
Had you guys asked me in that moment, have we done something we need to apologize for? No.
Yeah.
It wasn't any action that you did that was harmful to me. It was noticing some nuances in your conversation that was like, I do not like how this makes me feel, but it was not directed at me. It was just them having a conversation. I extrapolated that and took it into my own little self-pity moment, and they were able to talk me out of that. So
and it's okay to have self-pity moments.
But I was able to say, look, you guys didn't fuck up. That just sent me to a dark place watching that. And I'm feeling super squidgy about it. And I don't really know how to process what I'm feeling right now. I just feel sad. So, but they didn't do like, now if they had been like bitches and intentionally,
that can happen too.
That would have been different. But in sitting there, because the reason I was quiet at breakfast is I was trying to figure out like, why am I feeling like this?
Processing.
I was like, I feel really hurt, but not hurt by them, hurt by my reaction to what's going on here. And I don't I'm not upset with them, but I'm upset with how I feel about.
So you guys, when light bulbs come on, when that happens,
sit in it for a minute.
Yeah. Like those are happening for a reason. Yeah. And it is often very uncomfortable. And what you're going to want to do some of the times is ignore or just be like, oh, I don't have time. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. And maybe you are in a place where you can't. Maybe you're at work. Maybe you're out at a restaurant with your date. Maybe you're with your kids. And maybe it is a moment where you cannot do it, but file it away and revisit it when you do have the time. Do not push it away. It will just come back. It's like a boomerang. You throw it out there. Yeah. It's going to come back and it'll hit you in another moment that could be worse. So you have to make a mental note. I need to think about this. I need to schedule some time to process why.
I call it crock potting. I need to crock pot this. Yeah. And I was crock potting in that breakfast booth. I was just like, okay.
At a restaurant.
This it hit me and it was like, oh, I do not feel good about how I feel about this. And what can I do about it? Well, I don't want to fuck up the girls' weekend. They didn't do anything wrong. It just made me aware of something I didn't realize I was.
And by the way, it didn't mess up our weekend. And
no, definitely not. But I love that you guys dug in your heels and like, no, we're talking about it because clearly something's wrong. And I can imagine that you both thought I was upset with you because all of a sudden I went into like,
I think those are opportunities to become closer and to understand each other even better. And that's part of what Girls Weekend is too.
But I appreciated that you were like, we're not just going to let this go. Like something's going on. Let's talk about it.
Like that kind of a thing. Be a person who can facilitate, like
hold space, like holding space.
Yeah, when you know somebody really, really is having a moment, and being empathetic in that moment, being understanding, and maybe they're going to say something. Maybe they are going to have a problem with you. Maybe they are going to hit you with a truth bomb, and that you're not expecting. But in real friendships, in real relationships, that is part of friendship and relationships is real things happen. We're not perfect. Sometimes we hurt people unintentionally. Sometimes we hurt people intentionally. People are not always in their finest moment.
Right.
So it's like you said, holding space for people and sometimes realizing you shouldn't just let this one go. Like they're struggling. Like you see this struggle and you want to be there for them. So sometimes don't let people off the hook and maybe they aren't ready and you can give them an invitation to come back and say, you know what? Okay, you're crock potting right now. You're kind of getting your feels on this. Can we talk about this later?
Right.
Can we revisit this? Because I really want to be your friend and support you. I care about you. Obviously, you're struggling. Like, come back to me. Like,
right.
let's revisit it.
So I appreciated how you guys both handled that, because it's exactly what I needed in that moment, because it was something that unexpectedly came up for me. I wasn't ready to process it. And it was like, oh, I feel real icky about this.
Yeah.
I don't love how it's making me feel. But it wasn't, again, it was no action of you guys. It was just me extrapolating and realizing something about myself that I hadn't realized. So
that in the boundaries, when we were talking about no can be kind. And people, we tend to automatically put it into a negative category. If we just think that that's like finito, and it's just like end of conversation. It is not. Sometimes no is kind, because no can also mean I don't have the bandwidth to do a good job on the task that you're asking me to do. I'm being honest with you. I'm not your gal for this one.
Mm-hmm.
That's the right thing to do. If you're going to do a half-assed job, if you're going to overpromise and underdeliver because you're way too overwhelmed, by the way, women, we think we're super women. We think we can say, yes, yes. Like the yes is out of our mouth before the full request has even been made. We're already figuring out how we're going to do it before we even have heard the whole scope of whatever's being asked. How can I do this? How can I do this? I don't want to let anybody down. I'm the superwoman. I can do it all. We can't. And we can't do it all with quality. So no can be kind. No can be respectful. It's respectful to the person you might be having to say no to, and to yourself, and to your own time and your own self-care. It's not selfish. It's realistic.
100%.
So saying no, I said there was 3 steps. And the third one is, how does this serve me? And that is not a selfish thing. It's not
okay to be selfish, like in that way.
Yeah.
Like we only have you heard the spoons analogy? We only have so many spoons in a day.
Yeah.
Right. And every activity or, thing that we're going to put energy into takes a spoon. And you can really only hit, there are like 6 or 7 categories.
Yeah.
You can really only hit 3 in a day.
Yeah.
Like
with quality.
And so if I start saying yes to a bunch of things, this is what you said earlier, which I loved. Mm-hmm. Saying yes to something is saying no to something else.
We're automatically saying no to something else.
And saying no to something is saying yes to something else.
Yeah.
So,
you can think about that both ways. And here, another way to kind of think about that is we literally really do only have 24 hours.
Everybody does.
In a day. That's
the only
it.
commodity you can't replenish.
You can't. And that's it. And we sleep X amount of it. Most of us have a job or some kind of activities that require our time during the day. We have to do errands or commutes or other people's activities like our children or our family members. Really, your free time, it's not really a lot every day. So you have to intentionally figure out what the best use of your time is. And no is a very important tool. And so is yes. They're yin and yang. They're there. You have to have them both.
As an example, this morning we had planned on meeting here at noon.
Yeah.
And as Shelly was leaving her house, she was like, oh, there's construction. I'm already at a stop and I've only gone like 300 feet. Like, this is ridiculous. And knowing that, so I have some guilt that she's the one that drives here like my studio is the space that makes sense to do this because it's all set up. But it's like, I don't know if guilt's the right word. I appreciate that she commutes to be able to do these recordings. And when she said, because a couple weeks ago, it took you like 2 hours
there was
something to get here.
Wreck.
She's already like, with no traffic, it's like 40 minutes. So when she said, oh, there's already traffic, I wanted to make sure that she understood she didn't have to come today. Like, we could do this a different day this week. So it was like, do you still want to come up for this or should we postpone?
Yeah.
And she said, nope, I'm happy to still come out. And it was like, okay, but I gave her that.
Yeah, it's like giving people options.
Right. It's like, nice. I wouldn't have been pissed if she was like, it's saying it's going to be 2 hours. I just don't. Yeah. Like, can we find another day? That'd be great. Like that's the give and take. But I didn't want her to feel like because she had said we're doing this, like there are extenuating circumstances that would be a wild inconvenience for her. I don't feel like that's fair of me to insist that she still shows up for this. But she chose, I'm happy to do this. I found a different way, blah, blah, blah. So it was like, great, as long as.
And from my side of it, and this is like, there's always two different views. And where I come at it from is, maybe it's a 40-minute drive, but it's all set up. It's a studio. It's so easy. That part is convenient. So for me, that is a fair trade-off. It's fair for me to do the thing because all the stuff is here, the lighting, the studio, the set. So to me, it's an equal exchange. Right. So that's completely fair. But having options and that's the thing, flexibility is also needed in boundary setting. Like you have to do that. Every time you say no, you're saying yes to something else. Every time you say yes, you're saying no to something else. So your time is a limited commodity, and using no as a tool to best schedule your time is completely reasonable and fair to everyone.
Time boundaries are essential because, like you said, it's the only commodity that you can't renew. There's no, I don't care how much money you have, you cannot buy more hours in the day. We all get the same amount of minutes. Yep. And something that I found as a photographer is a lot of people will try to negotiate or oh, can you give me this for this much? Or can you throw in an album? Or I just need a couple images. I'll share it on Instagram if you don't charge me. And it's first of all, that doesn't pay my mortgage. Exposure does not pay my mortgage. Yeah. So what I have come to realize is I used to chase that money. So if I said, this is $500 and they said, well, I only have $200, then I would say, oh, I want that $200. So yes, I'll do that. Because I wanted that $200 because I'm thinking that $200 is that's my electric bill, right? That's $200 more than I had 10 minutes ago. So I want to say yes to that. But if I say yes to that $200, first of all, it's not fair to the people that are paying full price. No, right? It's not fair to those who are valuing what I do at the rate that I have found is an equal exchange.
Fair. Yeah.
So it's not fair to those people. And, it's not fair to my time. And if I am using my time to take that $200 client, now that piece of my calendar that is not replenishable is not available to other people who see my value and recognize that I'm worth what I charge.
And honor.
And then they're going to tell their friends, if you tell her 200, she'll take it. So I found myself doing this and I couldn't understand why everybody was asking for deals. It's because I was putting that energy out there and I was saying yes. So as soon as I started saying, well, this is the price, it's and I can press release and either you're okay with it or you're not. And I'm okay with either answer. I don't have any emotional attachment to whether you choose me or not. I recognize that the people that are supposed to work with me will, the people that aren't will not. Once I found that, people stopped asking.
Yeah. If you have a business, you have a business model and you have a menu of your prices, that's a boundary. You're setting about that is a boundary. And then if
I go into the store and try to get a jar or thing milk, it's I wouldn't say, well, will you take 50 cents?
You're not haggling. You're not at a farmer's market somewhere out
and haggle. And well, if I post a picture of this on Instagram, can I get it for free? No. Yeah.
Stop there are places, there's open markets in different parts of the world where that is the thing. And you do that. But these aren't. Businesses are not haggling. They'll tell you when they have an offer. They'll tell you when they have a special.
Right. If I have a special, that's totally different.
Yeah. Then you're still setting that's on your terms. So if you think about it that way too, it's what are my terms? You can, as a human.
Is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah. What it is okay to think, what is the value for me as a human? What am I emotionally going to get out of this? What am I monetarily going to get out of this? You have to go through and kind of do an inventory of what your worth is. And then that's how you start setting boundaries. My time is worth this. My effort is worth this. My emotional, involvement is worth this. And it's weird because you kind of have to go into a little bit of a robot mode and think, well, what do these things mean to me? And then that helps you when you have to talk to people and give them your boundary, then you can be articulate. And the more articulate and confident you sound when you deliver the news.
Say it from the chest.
Yeah, you've got to, your confidence in the way you hold yourself. You can't be timid when you say, no.
Right.
You don't want to do it like that. You want to say, oh, wow, thank you for thinking of me to do that. That's kind of flattering. Sadly, I do not have time to do that. And if
you have to apologize for it, I'm so sorry I can't do that.
If I'm gonna do that with quality, I just don't have the time. Mm-hmm. I have to say no. And then sometimes if I think there's somebody who could benefit from that offer, I'll tell them, oh, Angie is into that kind of thing. Like if I really do, I'm not going to try to turn it on to somebody if it's like a shitty thing. But if it's really something maybe Angie would be interested in, and maybe there's money involved or something, you know what? I know somebody who you might want to check on. So there's ways to graciously say no. It doesn't have to be with an apology.
Right.
It just can be, oh my gosh, I don't have the bandwidth. Thank you for offering. No. And you can always thank the offer.
Thank you so much for thinking of me. I'm not able to do that right now.
Yeah. I'm glad you thought of me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so thoughtful that you thought of me.
Yeah. And then if it's like, that's kind of like sometimes in professional things, like sometimes you get a professional ask that has to do with your job or something, and you're just full up, like you're booked meeting to meeting to meeting, and you can't. There's ways to professionally set boundaries and say no. And there's ways in your personal life. And your personal life can be much more straightforward. Like if Angie comes to me and she says, hey, on Friday night, blah, 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 I'm watching my grandkids. I can't.
Yeah.
Like it's easy to say no. I think I don't have a hard time saying no to my friends because my friends understand my life, know my life.
Same.
And if I come at them with a no, they know it's truly because something else is already on my books. I'm not usually trying to wrangle out of doing things with my friends. I like to do stuff.
I don't like the word busy because busy implies that you don't have time for someone, right? So I'm very conscious of not using the word I'm busy. I like to say I'm in high demand. I'm in high demand. And sometimes people will say, well, I know you're really busy and you probably don't have time because you're doing all your traveling, but if you have a chance, and I always say, I'm never too busy for you. You just have to let me know that you want to get together. So let's find a time. Like some people work at a bank and they're 9 to 5. I hold weird hours because I'm a photographer that runs a full commercial studio. So I can do 3 o'clock on a Tuesday, but I might not be able to do Saturday at 7 p.m.
That's my schedule too. I want a billable hour. So I get I have some bankers hours sometimes to do appointments, but I have a very flexible schedule, which I love.
Always find time to see somebody.
Yeah.
So just because there's the appearance that I'm very busy, I'm in high demand, which is great, but I'm never too busy for seeing people that I care about. Right. So if it's something that you want to do, now if it was like not something I was interested in and you were like, hey, let's go watch a golf marathon, I'd be like, oh, I hope you have a great time with that. That doesn't sound like my cup of tea.
Yeah, I do that a lot. Like,
you want to get lunch after?
Yeah, I if it's something I truly, and again, the more you know your friends, they usually know what you're into or not. But sometimes you have new friends or new people in your life, and they don't know that that's not your cup of tea. So that's part of the friendship process. And in your new friendships, you automatically can start setting those healthy boundaries.
Right.
And I try to listen for other people's boundaries, even if they're not knowing that they're actually setting them. Like if you just listen to people and tune in, you can get a vibe of what they're saying to you. And if it's not clear, I'm just like a person who says, I'm hearing blah, blah, blah. Am I hearing that right?
Yeah.
So communication.
Sounds like you're not really interested in golf.
Yeah. Communication.
Yeah.
Communication. Like you can't.
It's okay to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And everything can be done with respect. And if somebody doesn't like it or has a bad reaction when you say no, that's good to know. That is good information to have because maybe they're a professional person and you're stuck with, you're going to have to deal with this person. Like maybe you don't have an option. Maybe it's a family member. It's like that. And you might be stuck with a family member who acts that way. But you can still stand your ground and stick by your boundaries, and they'll either come around or they won't.
Right.
But then you're giving them a choice. Always give people choices, but you don't have to give in. You don't have to relent.
You're not a bad person for declining something.
No, absolutely not. And then if it's friends, then that's a little bit different. You can set different boundaries with friends. And sometimes you have an option of whether that person will continue to be your friend or not. Like, right. If they can't respect your boundaries, if they're constantly going to be going up against them, you don't have to allow as much time. You don't have to invite them into your life. You can say, well, this isn't going to work out.
Right.
And that's okay.
And it's okay to decline opportunities if you don't want to do them. It's like there are gracious ways to do that. Or you can just say like, I'm not really in the headspace right now to go to this gathering. It sounds like it would be a great time, but I'm just not in that space right now.
A social space right now.
You know, again, it's like the girls trip. Like, I didn't want to be the Debbie Downer, you know, or like if I'm in a real bad headspace and somebody's having a birthday party, like you don't want that person showing up. That's just like,
you know what? If you're over 12, if you're over the age of 12, even if you're under the age of 12, you have the right to say, no, you don't want to do something.
Yeah.
Everybody has the right, the choice to decline something. Just because you're invited to the party does not mean you have to go. You don't have to. Sometimes you don't want to. So you're not a bad person. Saying no can be a very healthy and empowering thing, and just practice it. Like sometimes if I know something's coming up that's going to be hard for me to say no to, I'll think about how I'm going to say it. You know, I put some intention and some conviction into it because I always want to be confident and I always want to be nice about it. I don't want to be mean.
I call it truth with love.
Yeah.
Like if you're giving like feedback or what would be possibly construed as criticism, it's like, how do I say this from a loving way because I want them to understand, you know, it this way instead of like a criticism. Like how do I deliver that truth with love?
Yeah. I mean, this is like setting boundaries is it's not something we can do in one podcast, really. This will probably have to have a part 2 and a part 27. It probably has that many parts. But I think just the focus on no, that's the main thing I take away from this is figuring out
how sitting in your feelings of whether, like, do you actually want to do this? Or are you doing this to make somebody else happy? Or are you doing this because you're going to feel guilty? Or you're worried that they're going to take it a certain way if you say no? Like, don't make other people's decisions for them of how they're going to feel.
Do an inventory list of what you think your boundaries are. What are your no, this is the deal breaker. Where's your line? Kind of figure those things out ahead of time and be conscious of them because you're probably subconscious of them, and you might not know why you're acting this way, but start kind of an inventory list and thinking about it. That's probably what you're going to get from this podcast is try to figure out what you think your boundaries are and learn how to feel comfortable with no. I'd say that's the takeaways.
I love that.
Yep. And now it's time for us to ask you if you've had any times where you had to say no. Were they successful? Were they not? You could comment.
Or if you have any tips on setting boundaries or stories of things that have happened and how you learned from it so that the rest of the Flasher community
share with the other Flashers.
Yes.
We'd love for you to do that. And now we're going to do rapid fire.
Yes. I love it. Okay. Do you want to go first? You want me to?
You.
Okay. What is your favorite month?
July. It's our Leo birthday month.
Don't cage the lions.
That's it.
Okay.
You didn't open with food, so I'm going to. Chocolate chip cookie dough. Raw or baked?
Baked. I just tried raw for the first time at Beth and Tyson's house. They were shook that I hadn't. Yeah.
It's a delight.
Bethany will actually make extra dough for the eating. And I had always heard like, you know, botulism or salmonella or whatever. She was having a tag party and she was like, they could not believe I'd never tried cookie dough. It was so good. It was very grainy.
Yeah, because the sugar and
I thought it would be like smoother. I love a fresh baked chocolate. Don't mess around with that. It was good. I mean, I didn't dislike the dough, but a warm chocolate chip cookie out of the oven, life doesn't get much better.
True story. Okay, you got one more for me, and I got one more for you.
Okay, I'll go first. What is your favorite beverage to have in July?
Ooh, I like
it. Isn't coffee.
I mean, you know, it's going to be a nice coffee, but if I was thinking like, I like really refreshing, like maybe like something with lime, like a lime Ricky or something where it's kind of where you get that citrusy punch.
You like that? I make that probiotic lemonade.
Yeah,
like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that tangy, got that little kick to it. Yes, for sure. Okay, so we'll go to a different kind of beverage for you. And I'll do a bottle of red, a bottle of white. Which do you prefer?
Okay, if you would have asked me this like 8 months ago, I would have said white for sure. But then I did the Bordeaux River Cruise with Ignite You Travel, Bordeaux, France, with my friends Kieran and Sherry. And I I learned a lot about wine, and I would say a Bordeaux red now. Like I used to maybe have one bottle of wine in my hand. Now I have shelves for my wine. And I've become a bit of a snob, but I love a Bordeaux red. I'm definitely a red wine person now.
I like Pinot Noir. I like a Pinot Noir and some Cab Sauv. I learned, but I started on white and then I worked my way. I think that's a normal way for people.
I'm definitely a red drinker now, though, which it surprised my husband when I came home from that trip.
So if you want to get us gifts, now just send us bunches of red wine and we'll take it.
I just drink white as well, but now I'm never
not gonna say no to anything.
I never would have fancied myself a red wine drinker before last August, and then I was like, this is surprising how much I can really enjoy it.
You can
once
send
I
us
understood.
a Seagram's wine cooler.
Seagram's wine cooler.
A box of wine would be fine.
Boone Strawberry Hill.
Yeah. Do us all fun. Maybe.
Okay.
Let's find out. If you know, let us know. You guys, we got to go. We're kind of probably running over, but who cares? We're having fun. Anyways, we hope to see you again, and you can hear us again on our next podcast. And until then, ciao, ciao.
Arrivederci.
I like that we're very Italian, even though we're not.
That's a wrap on this episode. If you laughed, related, or just need more, hit subscribe.
Check out the show notes to find us on socials and YouTube, and join our Patreon for exclusive extras.
And remember,
We're still hot,
just in flashes.